Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyaso tonight. It's a tragic day in Borno State as 26 people are killed following 2 female suicide attacks at a mosque in Mole village. Countdown to the rerun elections in River State. Inspector General of Police and INEC chairman speak on preparations ahead of the polls. Prosecution witness testifies against former Chief of Defence Staff, reveals how he allegedly helped Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade divert and launder funds. And Morocco threatens to pull its troops out of the UN Global Peacekeeping Mission over Ban Ki-moon's comment on the disputed Western Sahara. And over on business news tonight, federal lawmakers propose 115 billion naira for 2016 budget.
And on sports news, FIFA begins efforts to reclaim tens of millions of dollars in alleged bribe money seized by U.S. federal prosecutors from its members.
And from Abuja, reactions trail the decision by the Senate to throw out the bill aimed at the empowerment of women.
We begin tonight from Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, where twin explosions left 26 people dead. Today's suicide attack occurred as worshippers at a mosque in Umarari Mule village were saying their prayers. The village lies just a few kilometers away from Maiduguri. Our correspondent reports that the first bomb went off after one of the suicide bombers, disguised as a man, joined the worshippers before setting off the explosive device. Condemning today's attack during the visit to the scene of the incident, the state governor, Kashim Shettima, advised residents to imbibe community policing.
Aftermath of the gruesome attack on Umarari Mule village, a scene that captures the shock and confusion that grips the residents of this community following the blast, the third of such attacks in the village. Umarari Mule, barely 6 kilometers from Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, is mostly occupied by locals dislodged by insurgents from nearby villages.
Exactly 5 a.m., 2 women came from the bush. One of them detonated our explosive in the mosque while worshippers were praying. The other one positioned herself at the Lima's house and detonated when sympathizers had gathered.
The State Emergency Management Agency blames the repeated attacks on the village on its proximity to the notorious Sambisa forest and wants security operatives to comb the area.
From here, this village, I think you cannot move up to 4 to 5 kilometers. That you're just very close to this Sambisa axis, this present place that we are. So actually, we need a very strong presence of the military to give them a cover, and we have received such assurance from the military. Even though there are checkpoints and formation while you are coming in, but I think we need more, according to the report I received from the civilian JTFs.
Another duty call for Governor Kashim Shettima, who almost immediately comes to commiserate with the people and rallies the community leaders for talks on how security can be boosted in the area.
We'll urge our people to be extra vigilant. It was just a minor relapse because for the first 8 or so weeks, there was a semblance of calmness, and that made the people to relax their guards. Ordinarily, in the frontier communities, we have urged our people not to pray at once, but for some of them to serve as security within the premises of the mosque during the times of prayers. But unfortunately, our people relaxed their guards and they took advantage of the relaxed atmosphere to inflict pain on our people.
It is expected that the people's appeal for more security personnel will be heeded to boost their confidence as the efforts to restore peace in the troubled areas continue.
Meanwhile, the president has commiserated with families of the victims of the terrorist attack in Umarari village. President Muhammadu Buhari, who wished speedy recovery to those injured, also commended the security agencies and emergency services for their prompt deployment to the area. President Buhari reiterated his administration's determination to arrest and prosecute those who perpetrate, finance, organize and sponsor acts of terror. He said, quote, "The attack by perpetrators who pretend to be worshippers has once again exposed them as mere criminals who have no place among civilized people. Nigerians must continue to remain vigilant to the antics of these lawless individuals and cooperate with the relevant government agencies." Let's take a look at some politics now. The Inspector General of Police has warned those planning to disrupt Saturday's rerun elections in Rivers State to steer clear of all polling units. Mr. Solomon Arase, at a joint press briefing with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja, explained that the deployment of personnel became necessary because of the already tense security situation in the state. Meanwhile, INEC says it has recruited the services of 24,930 ad hoc staff, 379 collation officers and 37 returning officers for the polls.
A total of 6,000 police personnel will be deployed to reinforce security across the 3 senatorial districts of River States. This will comprise of 8 units from visiting PMS squadrons and 46 units from the 3 existing PMS squadrons in River States. At this junction, let me note that the intelligence unit of the Nigerian police has conducted a comprehensive security threat analysis of River State. The areas likely to present major security threats as well as individuals who are poised to make themselves available as political talks to threaten the peaceful conduct of the electoral process have been identified. I must state with maximum emphasis that while the security framework to be in place will be civil enough to protect all political actors across party divides, it will also be potent enough to deal firmly, swiftly, and professionally with any individual, regardless of his or her political leaning or status, who may want to test the will of law enforcement agents by threatening public order, endangering the lives of the electorates, or engaging in any acts that is capable of threatening the electoral process.
To ensure the successful conduct of the rerun elections, INEC has engaged 24,930 ad hoc staff. The youth corps members will serve as presiding officers, while others will serve as assistant presiding officers 1, 2, and 3. In addition, we have engaged a total of 379 collation officers and 37 returning officers.
And ahead of Saturday's rerun elections in Rivers State, the police has warned that there will be no hiding place for troublemakers who intend to disrupt the exercise. This warning was handed down by the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations at the police headquarters, DIG Sotonye Wakama. He had a security meeting with the Independent National Electoral Commission, agencies and political parties and others in Port Harcourt, the state capital. Our correspondent Emmanuel Ere reports.
Security is taut as the DIG in charge of operations, force headquarters in company of other senior police officers arrived the premises of the mess in Port Harcourt, the River State capital. Heads of security agencies, INEC officials, political parties and other stakeholders gather in this room for a crucial security meeting ahead of the Rivers legislative polls on Saturday. The DIG says he has no apologies for anyone bent on causing trouble on that day.
We are not here to plead. We are not here to beg. We are not here to beseech or to implore or to request. We are here to tell you that should there be any problem, wherever it arises from, we're going to deal with that problem with the full force of our might and the full force of the law, but within the framework of the law. Our conduct, our intelligence has told us that there are certain groups, gangs, cults, violent groups in certain places around the state. Some have already been put up in 1 or 2 hotels that we are aware of. More importantly, we know the sponsors of most of these groups. And what do I mean by sponsors? People buy and pay for violence, as you know. And those people who have bought and paid for this violence, we have made the linkages. As from tomorrow, you will see some people will just be will be lost in our police cells.
Speaker after speaker agree that the elections must be peaceful.
So I want to say that in APC, we will want to maintain peace. Our people will come out to vote. Please let our people be protected.
We will not come to the polling with police. If it is a very urgent, we need to come with an artillery. He will not carry any arm. Every instruction they are giving here, we will follow. Just to assure you that we want the election to be very, very peaceful.
The resident electoral commissioner uses the event to refute allegations of working with a doctored list of ad hoc staff.
I've listened to so many insinuations on list flying and so on. I have not taken any list from any political party. I have not, and that is, they can testify that is the first time in this state that nobody has applied to be INEC staff, to be INEC ad hoc staff. Nobody.
The DIG is not done. It tells journalists outside that everyone is fed up with reports of violence in the state. After all said and done, the clear message from this meeting is that residents in Rivers State are now free to go about their civic responsibilities come this weekend without fear of molestation or harassment. Emmanuel Ere, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has expressed concern over the increasing number of conflicting judgments from election tribunals and appeal courts across the country. At a national conference on election petition tribunals and appeals organized by the Court of Appeal in Abuja, Professor Yakubu said there is a need for certainty in the rules governing the resolution of electoral disputes to stem the tide of avoidable litigation arising from conflicting judgments. He says judicial precedence is very important because democracy goes beyond the conduct of elections. In part 2, after the break, group takes to the streets in Lagos in protest against corruption. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.